In multicolored circles are video clips of plants and animals, and of humans working in nature. A salmon swims, a kit fox blinks, a snowy plover seabird chick flies from a rock, a salamander crawls through grass. Title: Saving Species Together. Rolling hills beneath blue sky. Blue skies above a densely packed suburb. Text: Bakersfield, California. San Joaquin kit foxes wrestle on short grass. Text: San Joaquin kit fox habitat, grasslands of the Central Valley 1967, listed as endangered under the Federal Endangered Species Act 1971, listed as endangered under the California Endangered Species Act. Cause: loss of habitat. Overhead view of dense suburbs becoming a wide, empty lot. Brian Seifer, research ecologist, California State University, Stanislaus.
The city of Bakersfield, California, traditionally used to be kit fox habitat. Their natural habitat tends to be arid grasslands and scrublands.
Kit foxes running through dry grasslands and across paved walkways.
Almost for as far back as folks can remember, kit foxes have been seen in town, and the impression was that these were animals that were being displaced by development, and they were either going to die or be pushed out. But kit foxes are canids, and canids in general tend to be highly adaptive.
Near a low building are a kit fox and kits around a den bordered with tall grass and marked with a pink ribbon on a white post.
And so, surprisingly, they've done really, really well in that urban environment, other than the mange epidemic, which has been sweeping through it in recent years.
Next to a parking lot with a chain link fence are three people examining a trap, concealed in low shrubs.
We're going to go ahead and get her in a bag, him or her, confirm who it is, and then just check the teeth and the mouth and make sure that that's all good.
A woman in a tan coat attaches a blue cloth bag to the entrance of the trap. Text: Jamie Rudd, environmental scientist, California Fish and Wildlife Investigations Lab.
I'm working with the Wildlife Investigations Lab and the Endangered Species Recovery Program, and we're investigating a mange epidemic that's occurring in kit foxes, primarily in Bakersfield. It's a fatal disease that's caused by a mange mite called Sarcoptes scabiei. It's known as scabies in people and then mange in animals. Sarcoptic mange infection seems more common in urban environments for kit foxes.
Rudd places a green rod between a kit fox's teeth to examine the animal.
And we're trying to understand why. This one does have some hair loss here on the hips.
Rudd's gloved hands adjust the kit fox within the blue bag as she examines it.
You can see the hair is short and broken. For now, we are trapping kit foxes and treating them to help prevent mange from spreading.
Rudd releases the kit fox as two people look on.
Kit foxes have an annual cycle. The dens that they build, they use throughout their entire life. And so when you go into an area and you see a den and you clear it, the foxes will always try to come back. And so it's really important to take that into consideration.
Habitat loss is still the biggest threat to the species.
Groups of foxes nose each other and play. A kit fox walks alongside a chain link fence.
And habitat is still being converted primarily to agricultural uses, but also to urban and industrial uses as well.
People walk through dry scrub land. Rudd carries a bag up a gravelly slope to railroad tracks.
When those uses go in, the foxes can't make dens in those areas. Usually rodenticides are used in those areas, so all of their natural prey is eliminated. The irrigation tends to wash them out of the dens or flood the dens.
Water flows in a shallow channel past long, narrow leaves. A sprinkler spurts water over a green field.
So there's nothing to eat, no place to hide from the coyotes or other predators, so we really don't see them using agricultural lands to any extent at all.
A tractor drags a plow through dusty brown earth. Text: 150 miles northwest of Bakersfield, a preserve of 26,500 acres, now owned and managed by the Center for Natural Lands Management, has been set aside for conservation as mitigation for construction of the Pinauche Valley Solar Energy Plant. Pinauche Valley Preserve, San Benito County, California. Cloudy skies over tall shrubs and dry scrub land.
The Pinauche Valley Preserve was established as part of a mitigation project for a solar project that went in here in the valley.
Rows of blue solar panels with blue sky above. Text: To meet California's lofty renewable energy goals, new energy production projects need to be constructed, but are often met with opposition. Securing adequate conservation mitigation for such projects can be controversial, but can also lead to large-scale conservation. A kit fox walks along dry brown earth. A creek bed lined with bright green cuts through sun-baked land. Text: Greg Warwick, Regional Preserve Manager, Center for Natural Lands Management.
In order for them to permit this project, they had to set aside land as mitigation. So once they had identified the land, we came in and we helped figure out what the cost would be to manage this land in perpetuity.
James J. Dixon, Chief Operating Officer, Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses. Tall towers carry power lines across scrub lands.
Con Edison Development is very committed to its mission, and that is providing clean, renewable energy. And so part of what we did at the Panoche Valley project was to provide this very necessary mitigation land for the preserve of these endangered species that were affected by the development.
A kit fox peers out of its den on a rolling hillside. Text, Randy McCormick, President, McCormick Biological.
For San Joaquin kit fox, contiguous parcels and contiguous acres is really important because of the size of their home range and the need for areas for them to disperse into when they do have pups. So 26,000 acres that's adjacent to BLM lands. This is a really large, nice parcel of contiguous lands that San Joaquin kit fox can use.
Cloudy skies above a kit fox walking through scrub lands. Cattle surrounded by wire fences. Text, John Eade, Rancher, Panoche Valley Preserve.
This Panoche Valley, which is the center of the whole project, it's dry. It just went from wild animals to ranching to farming, and then now it's back to ranching and solar farms and preservation of species.
Panoche Valley and the surrounding area is considered one of 3 core areas for threatened and endangered species, especially kit fox.
Text, Pronghorn antelope. A brown and white antelope walks through green grass. Then a kit fox walks through a field.
This land has been conserved in a mostly natural state. You can see all these little trails here, burrows and holes, and it's just a ton of rodent activity going on out here.
People examine sun-baked earth. Text, giant kangaroo rat. Burrowing owl. Blunt-nosed leopard lizard. Loggerhead shrike. Black and white footage of a rodent and its burrow, then of an owl grooming its leg. A lizard in its burrow, which is bordered by green grass. A gray and blackbird perched on a low shrub. Randy McCormack.
They form an ecosystem of San Joaquin Valley species that is not intact in very many places, and this is an intact ecosystem that is going to be managed for years to come.
John Eade lifts a metal pipe.
I'm proud to be a part of this whole thing. The ranching and the solar farms and the species, it all works together. I mean, if we take care of the land will take care of us and our cattle and the species. So it's just been a fine deal. Not many people have done that.
Eade gets into his truck. Text, no mange has been reported in the kit foxes in the Panoche Valley Preserve. James Dixon.
This is a real instance where parties can work together to come to very good solutions in a way that benefits the people of California and also preserves areas for species that might be impacted by our activities.
Rows of solar panels along a dirt road. Pronghorn graze in a field of yellow flowers. A kit fox looks out. Jamie Rudd walks with a colleague.
Collaboration is key. No person can do this alone. Together, we can work to have a common solution that will benefit everybody.
2 people walking along rolling hillside with blue sky above. Montage of Panoche Valley animals. Randy McCormack.
We have an obligation to future generations to be good stewards of what we've been given. And California is a gift. And we've got to figure out how to preserve enough of each of the examples so that all the diversity we have in California can be sustained for the generations to come.
Text, savingspeciestegether.org. Produced by Full Frame Productions. Producers Kevin White, David Donenfield, Amy Lim. Director and writer, Kevin White. Camera, David Donenfield. Editor, Alex Albers. Audio and sound, Dave Wendlinger, Leroy Clark. Graphics, Sean Dana, Colmel Love. Additional footage and photos courtesy of California Department of Fish and Wildlife, Center for Natural Lands Management, Vince Frank. Hidden in plain view, the Carrizo Plain. From OregonWildlife.org, B. Moose Peterson, Tori Westall. Special thanks, Con Edison Clean Energy Business, Center for Natural Lands Management, Endangered Species Recovery Program. This was made possible through the collaboration of the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and NOAA Fisheries. This video was funded by the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation with community service funds paid by the defendant in a securities fraud case captioned as USAV Wildlife Management LLC, ND California. For more information about protecting threatened and endangered species, visit savingspecietogether.org.